In this video, we're going to talk about a Pokemon history. Let's take a look at the phenomenon that is Pokemon. Where did it come from? What is a Pokestop? What is a Pokegym? And how is Pokemon evolving? Did you know that Pokemon is already in its 7th generation? Pokemon launched on February 27th, 1996. Yes, it's been around for over 20 years. This was the original screen for the original Pokemon on the handheld Game Boy system from Nintendo. It was black and white and a fairly simple role-playing game. Pokemon is a role-playing game where you are a trainer looking to catch them all. As you build up your collection of the cute, cuddly creatures, you train them to become stronger and build teams around strengths and weaknesses. What originally began as an elemental system evolved into something weirder and greater. Fire is weak to water, ground is weak to fire, water is weak to electric, poison is weak to psychic, etc. Here you can take a look at the ridiculous strengths and weaknesses of the different types of Pokemon that are available in their current setup. Now, in the current version of the Pokemon Go app, not all of these different types are available, but a majority of them are. Anything where you see a green plus is a strength. So water, which you can see third down on the left, is strong against fire. You can see that as second line to the right. Anything with a red minus is a weakness. Fire is weak to its own powers. Grass is also weak to fire, so is ice. Anywhere you see a black X, those types of Pokemon do 0 damage in any attack that is from their type. Now there are ways around this, but we're not really looking to get intricate and deep into how Pokemon work. So, especially when it comes to the Pokemon Go game, a ghost type attack won't even work on a normal type Pokemon. Obviously, I could talk about just this screen for quite some time, but if you take a look, you can see most of the strengths and weaknesses have a little bit of logic involved. You may love the electric type Pokemon, but a team full of them could be wiped out by a single water type Pokemon. Your team has to be made up of Pokemon of different types to capitalize on strengths and weaknesses of other teams. Most importantly, many Pokemon have 2 different types. Not only does that make you extra strong against the types of Pokemon they would be strong against, it also gives you extra weaknesses. Pokestops are a place to gather potions, buffs, and heal your team in the original game. They serve a similar purpose in the new Pokemon Go game, but we'll get to that in a bit. Pokegyms are where big battles take place between your trainer and the local gym leader and whatever supporting team they may have there. The goal is to defeat the leader and get a special badge that identifies your awesomeness. This is what a battle looked like in one of the Pokemon games. Your goal in the games is to beat the Pokemon leaders to get to an ultimate battle where you face 4 different leaders at once on some ridiculously out-of-the-way mountain. Once you do that, you defeat the game, but they do have special things you can do once you do that to build up your team even further. In Pokemon Go, you still gather items you need at Pokestops, and you still battle gym leaders. The physics of the battles in the Pokestops have changed a bit. So now, this is an augmented reality app on our phones where we use our cameras built into our smartphones to bring Pokemon into our world. Pokestops are different. They don't look the same like they did in the game. In the game, it would be a little building your little character would walk into, and they would stock up on whatever they needed, heal, and then go back out into the world to move further into the game. Now, Pokestops give you automatic drops of different items when you check into one, and gyms are even more different from the way they performed in the game. So now, when you're going into a battle, you'll see screens similar to this, and you will then fight. And fighting in Pokemon Go is also very different from how it is in the game. Over the last 20 years, there have been numerous sequels and nearly a dozen spin-off games capitalizing on the craze of Pokemon. Finally, we have the next evolution of Pokemon in the Pokemon Go game we have on our cell phones. Pokemon Go is ridiculously popular as it slowly rolls out across the world. It already has more active users than Tinder, and it's approaching the point where it has more engagement than Facebook. Now, this is a slightly old graphic. As of the time when I'm recording this video, this hadn't been released in Japan yet, where Pokemon are even bigger than they are in the United States. However, you can see that Pokemon Go in 2016 already has more active users than Candy Crush, which is pretty much the most popular game on mobile devices. This was taken 1 week after Pokemon Go launched, and it's only going to get bigger as time goes on. In the other videos, we'll talk about the business aspects and sides of Pokemon Go and how you can play the game and get a little bit more familiar with how it works.